Welcome to Aussie Vision. I'm Dale and I'm joined by the amazing
Liv.
We are at your Airbnb actually, just down the road from the arena.
Just a couple stops away. It's a pretty sweet view. I'm pretty lucky here, I think.
So hopefully the noise isn't too bad, but we're going to go through who we think is going to make the grand final from semi-final one. So these are going to be our qualifiers. After we've seen the dress rehearsal and the jury show last night, so we've got a much better view. And I think a few performances changed from us being in the stadium to seeing it live in the press centre.
It's always just so different, that feeling in the arena versus what you actually see down the camera, right?
All right, well, let's go through. We're not even going to kind of talk about these ones because they seem very obvious to us and they're high in the odds. It is Sweden, Estonia, Ukraine, Albania, and even Poland we're putting straight through, aren't we?
Straight through, no worries.
Poland's probably the only one out of that lot that might be in the bottom of that list, but I don't see any issues with them qualifying. Diaspora vote as well, right?
Exactly, they'll be just fine.
All right, then we have the next batch, which we'll have a little chat about here. We'll start with the Netherlands here. Now, Liv, I'm a little worried about this, but I feel like the song should be enough to carry it through, but I have concerns.
I'm actually now not worried about this at all. Conversely, I think actually when I did watch the full 3-minute concept, it doesn't scream something that's going to go top 5, which I think people initially thought it could do. However, there's a market for this. This is the song that your mums and your grandmas are going to have. It definitely is very refreshing in the semi-final when you have a slower song like this or something that's a little less bombastic. Like it really does stand out in that way, in a way that I think Portugal probably hoped they could do. Netherlands kind of fills that little spot for something a little bit more low-key. Yeah,
no, I do agree. Like, I think the song is enough and it does work for people. I just think I'm not really great on the staging and that just had me worried. But the song's such an up-here song that even if it drops, it should have enough to get through. But if there was like a, oh my God, NQ, that would be who I would have a little bit of money on, but I don't. All right, Cyprus is next, where this isn't, I think, working as great as it could, but I still think it's got enough to get through.
It definitely looked better down the lens, I'll say, than in the arena. I don't think it can get through, actually, Dale. I would say it's a combination of, I think the staging's a little messy. I don't think a local viewer is necessarily going to love that. And also, his vocal is just not quite right. I don't know. Like, he's just got a bit of strain. Sometimes the intonation goes off a little bit, and then it sort of turns into mosquito territory. And Cyprus does struggle with a televote. So I have this to NQ.
Yeah, that's a big call, and there's going to be some comments on this video. But look, I do agree. The vocal, there were some moments that people, viewers don't always like that. I think there's enough going on. They close the show. Closers generally qualified. Very rarely do they not make it.
True.
But I do agree that there is some concerning parts here. That I do think if it qualifies, it will be in those last couple rather than the big hit people were probably expecting. The scaffolding is good at times, but when they move it around, no. There's some great shots though. It starts really well.
I do agree that the concept, it should be in that top 10, but I just feel as a whole package, it might just slip through the cracks.
Fair enough. All right, Belgium next. We both love this staging, and I think we both agree that it'll get through.
Yes.
The only thing I'll say is its finish is so strong, but the opening, there's a few odd moments, and some of the vocal could be better. Just feels a bit exposed at times.
Yeah, I definitely hope that they do refine those first few camera angles. There was a couple of moments that were kind of missed or a bit like out of focus, and I don't think it was in a stylistic way, let's put it that way. But I agree, it picks up pace, it gets really good. There is also one shot where, sorry for mentioning this, you'll see it. He's basically projected into the ground and then he's kind of hovering over himself, and it just looks a little weird, I'll say.
Yeah, weird is probably just the start of what words we could use to describe that. So
I think
why did they choose that shot? Yeah,
it looks really bizarre, honestly, but the concept, I think, is definitely there, and for a lot of people, definitely everyone who kind of watched it yesterday, it rose for them, which is always a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, the general feeling in the press centre is everyone, after watching it on TV, was like, damn, that was pretty good.
Yeah, it ends so well. The second half is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So even if you weren't enjoying the first bit of it, for some reason, you'll tune in and people will vote for it. So it should be fine.
100%.
Norway's here. It's ninth in the odds, which I think is, but it's $1.15 or something. Now, this will qualify as long as he just does everything right. I think you'd have to have a vocal mishap to miss out. It's just very solid. It does what it does, and it's very good and slick.
Yeah, I mean, it's just solid, scanty pop. We don't have much in the way of just clean, easy pop like that this year, especially not in this semi. So it stands out. He nails it every time. He's just so consistent. He's got that little dance move thing. He's got a point of difference. I don't see this struggling.
Yeah, and then we have, so that's our 9, but you've got 8. I've got 9 qualifiers there. Now, 2 that we're going to rule out straight away aren't getting through. That is Croatia and Azerbaijan.
Yeah, both of them have many issues with their staging, really, but also vocal issues. Just it doesn't stand out in the running order. Both of them kind of suffer from the same things, which is just either the staging choices were a bit bizarre or a bit boring, honestly.
And I think also those 2 really needed to have incredible staging to rise up to have a chance. And the staging was disappointing on top of a song that was already going to struggle to qualify.
Yeah.
So that leaves 4, and you have space for 2, I have space for 1. They are San Marino, Slovenia, Iceland, and Portugal. Let's start with San Marino, because in the stadium, I love the running order, and it still does have a good running order because there's a lot of host talk. There's Italy and there's Azerbaijan, which are a bit, down here, and then he comes and goes with wham. But it just doesn't look that great down the camera.
I feel like every 2 minutes it's like it's on, and then it's like, no, we're cancelled, we're done. Oh no, it's San Marino's back on, and now I'm back on cancelled. It sags. The first 30 seconds, they've got some interesting eye-catching graphics. He's got some pyro, and you haven't seen it before, right? This is the first 30 seconds of something new. And then once you get past that first chorus, it just sags, and it's like they're just waiting. Quick, get to the next chorus, and then let's bring the energy back up. Like it just doesn't hold you for the full 3 minutes. And San Marino, apart from, I don't know, maybe Estonia and Italy at this point, maybe with the Italian connections with Estonia. Who else is voting for this? Genuinely.
The one thing, and I totally agree, the one thing might go in its favour is the fact that we've heard this so many times. So the first listener, they might just be like, oh man, that's so catchy.
That's true.
I heard some people singing it on the tram when they were leaving the stadium last night, and I was like, but still, I am like 1 foot in, 1 foot out with it as well. I can't, but San Marino just don't get votes right, so it's out for me.
But then again, Switzerland might also vote for it. I mean, it's an official language here, Italian.
True.
I didn't even think of that.
Oh God, you're back on.
It's back on, and it was a theme song at San Remo for a reason. Is that it was instantly catchy. No, we're putting it out for now, but we're allowed to say that we had a caveat that we kind of thought it was in. Yeah.
All right, let's go to Slovenia here. In the stadium yesterday, when we went in, not his greatest performance, but last night in the jury show down the screens, fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good vocal, and it worked really well.
Yeah, 100%. And for that reason, I've done the most shocking thing I think I'm going to say all year. I think this is qualifying. I think I went from quite a visceral reaction with this song where I actually felt irritated. Like, don't tell me what to think. But now I actually am like, oh wow, this staging was really gorgeous actually, and it actually had some really great moments where there's sort of twinkling lights that come through. It's so intimate. Honestly, I'm completely sold after seeing it down the camera, and I could see so many people perhaps actually genuinely getting emotionally attached to this. Like, oh my God, I think it's going through.
Yeah, I think he did a really good performance. The staging is really lovely. There's one part where there's little videos of his family in the background, which I just don't think work. And also, there's the audio of it. It almost sounds like there's some leaked audio coming through, which I think is a choice. I don't think that works. But you move on from it because the rest of it's so good. It's going to live and die on his vocal.
Yes.
Because it feels like sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. It was on last night. If he's off a little bit, it's dead. If it's on, very much a chance.
I will say I didn't like the sound from the videos, but I actually liked the videos in the background myself. It just really hammers home the message. But also, the wife, is it? Well, obviously they kiss, but like she is in the videos. So it's kind of like you're watching the videos, they're a family, and then she's just coming out by herself, which I actually found quite emotional, where it's like, like it's just them.
Yeah, it was nice. I still have this... I have this just missing out. I have this as 11th. I just also think they're surrounded by lights early in the show, and there's a couple of things that can go wrong. But last week I predicted it in. Yesterday it was dead. Now it's like on the cusp. But I'm gonna I have to put someone out, and it's Slovenia. Iceland next. Man, they open the show with a bang.
They were the best choice, I think, genuinely, to put at the start of the show. And they've extracted everything out of that performance. This one was, for me, I thought completely dead. I thought there was no chance. And now, bam, I've got it going through easy in my mind.
Yeah, they were so good. They
Yeah.
even sounded good.
Yeah.
And it just there's a lot of energy at the start of the show, and they just keep that going. And the crowd involvement is a really big thing as well. Like, they were loving it. So I think that's going to really help too. And I feel very comfortable about Iceland getting through.
So do I. I mean, you and I both turned to each other as soon as we saw the crowd and seeing what it would look like with the crowd, and went, damn, that looks spectacular. Seeing them pop out in those little suits against that crowd, like I think the excitement of seeing the first entry of the year with the type of entry it is really helps it. Really helps. And they have a few good voting allies, so
I think they're done. And the last one we'll talk about, just as this truck goes past, is Portugal. Now, look, I have this out. Shocks have happened. If they'd staged this really well, I think it could have had a chance. But I don't think the staging works and tells the story strong enough. But so I do have it out, even though I think it could have been a song that could have caused a surprise.
Yeah, see, I always have a bit of a blind spot for Portugal, I feel, unless it's like 2018. So I always find it very hard to read these entries because they seem to resonate with people, but I'm not people. So I think genuinely this one is just a weaker version of what they usually send. And I just don't think it has enough. The staging is not quite right. It doesn't really tell the story effectively. So I think they're done, I think.
Well, there we go.
They always shock me, though.
Yeah, I think we will be in for a shock tonight at some point. But there seems to be a lot of surefire ones, but you never know if they might drop out. That first half is particularly strong.
Yeah.
And I think that could affect some big name in the second half potentially, but we'll see how it all goes.
Gotta wait and see.
All right, well, enjoy the show, and we'll see how right or wrong we are when we come back and talk about things tomorrow.
I can't wait to be traumatized.
All right, catch you later.
Bye. My feet are really cold.
Oh, you cold? How much time?
How much time do we... I can't